So today we're going to talk about quick actions in your contacts module. So what are the most common action used, how to add columns to contacts, how to have internal communication with a contact using your notes in Contact 360, and then the different types of contacts and what that means for using InsuredMine. So from here, go right in. So this was our last day covering contacts. So this is kind of our last hurrah. So we're going to talk about quick actions, why it's important to utilize them. So we have these here. So if you're on the phone with them or you get an email or you need to do something quickly, you don't have to go into Outlook or Gmail. You don't have to DM a coworker. You don't have to even go into the contact itself. You can simply come into the contacts module, search them, and then you can just click this button here and you can add a note. Like I said, you can send an email from this page. We have, you can get to their full contact, which we talked about yesterday, add an activity, you can merge a contact as well, assign a drip even. So there's all these different things that you can do. In terms of the internal communications, I always push using notes so you don't have to email or chat with a coworker and say, hey, go look at this client, or hey, go do this. You can just simply add the note, tag them, and then add a note like this. And then from here, they'll get an email with the notification and a link to this contact. So it'll be a lot quicker than having to kind of use other systems to communicate about a client. And then we're going to talk about the different types. So when you're adding a contact, of course, you'll have to add the name. So, and I'm going to click new. So I'm adding a new contact here. And then before I can even create save, I'm going to have to click the type. So lead, prospect, or other. The difference between prospect and lead is I like to leave it up to the agent's interpretation, like how you run your business. But essentially what it means is once you get any sort of traction or they show any sort of interest. So for some people, that's simply just opening up your email. For others, that's a phone call that they're definitely interested in, looking into getting a policy with you. So it's whatever you consider the difference. The most important thing is that you and everybody on your team has that same definition of what a prospect and what a lead is, and who falls under that other column as well.
Can we add another contact status?
No, you can add categories, but you can't add different types of contact status because we have a lot of analytics behind it. You have up here these buttons that you can click it. So if you added them, it really wouldn't go anywhere. You'd have to then develop a whole another page for that category. And then we talked about adding columns. So of course, we've talked about this quite a bit this week, but if you want to add something like occupation, address, something like that, you can do that. And then of course, you now can arrange all the columns as well, except for name has to always be first, but after that, everything can be modified and you can just delete them here if you don't want to add them or if you don't want to see them anymore. So that's a new feature that we added. So with that, that's everything about our topic this week. Does anybody have questions about that or anything related to InsuredMine?
No questions, but I want to give a big shout out to Shubham. The issue I talked about yesterday with the anniversary and expiration. I got an email from him yesterday. It was already done. It's already done.
Oh, well, look at that. Shabab's on top of it. I'll make sure to tell him. Yeah, he's amazing. He's always always working, always getting things developed and working on client issues and all that. So, all righty. Other questions? Anything?
Hello, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
So, Pat wants to ask about what machine was it? So, you know that we are doing a 30 and 40-day email campaign. So, on the 30th day, we will send the deck page. So,
Mhm.
another agent will add the files here on the contacts. So, he wants to know if I will be notified or triggered when someone add a file here.
So, if there's two things he can do, so he could go to notes or tasks and tag you in that.
Oh,
Also,
okay.
why don't you go ahead and click that add files button first? So if you click, yeah, click add files. Um, so he could add a note here, but he can't tag you within adding the file. He would then have to add a note or a task. So click cancel for me. And so he'll add the file here. He'll click upload, and he could of course put a note, and then click in the center of the screen. Anywhere is fine. So he could do either of those. So you know how to tag in a note, correct? In a task.
Oh, okay.
So if you click in the text box up at the top and then just type the at sign, yeah. So then he could tag you and you'll get a notification, or whoever needs to get the notification.
Oh,
And it doesn't, it is kind of interesting because the name isn't highlighted. So it looks like you're not tagged, but you are. So, you don't have to worry about that. And then click in the middle of the screen again.
I tried to tab, but but
Perfect. Yeah. Just because it's not highlighted doesn't mean that he's still gonna get that. It just stays the same color. So like I was just saying, don't let the font or the lack of like an underline or something throw you off. If you were to say something and you were to hit add note, he'll get that email.
okay.
So then click
Thanks.
X and then go to task right here, and then go to assignee down here, and click that. And then you can also do it that way. So he's got those two options. And then there's a third as well. So click out of there.
What about the template?
Yeah, I'll show that's inside of your task list. So we'll have to go into task list in order to do that, to create the templates. One more thing, go down to assignee down at the bottom on the other side right here. And so he can also assign you. So that way, whenever there are changes being made, you can, you'll get notifications for that as well if he adds you to the card.
Oh, wait, so if I will assign myself,
Mhm.
all the activities in this card I will be notified.
Yeah, you'll get an email that says like, "Hey, Joyce, Patrick just added a file or added a task."
Okay.
I don't think if they're if he sends an email, I don't think you get a notification. But adding files and tasks and stuff like that, you'll get the notification. So the best practice though is to assign you, and then as well tagging you in a note and a task just to make sure you're getting those notifications.
Okay. Thanks.
Mhm.
And another one. So I've tried to make an automation, but I think it's wrong. Can you walk me through? So I want to make an automation for the 40 days because Pat wants to be he will be the sender, but I cannot do that. So for example, so I want If I select the personal auto here, does the active clients with personal auto will be the recipients?
Mhm.
So this is the template. Then I don't see Patrick's email here.
You have Patrick's login?
No.
Okay. I think if you could, well, there's a couple things. I can add Patrick's email to your account if you want.
Okay.
So if
Can
you,
you? Can you add?
yeah,
Amanda, on that topic, do you have to add someone else's email to our accounts, or could we do it?
we do it on our end.
Okay.
We want to make sure that the email account you're adding, if it's not verified, it needs to be verified. The
Okay.
fastest way to do that is to just, and I'm actually, we'll have Joyce do it while we're on the call so you can see. Go down to this support button right here, or this question mark, click support. And in the subject, just hit add email to my account. And then click this drop down menu. Just type in issue or feature. Feature's fine, whichever, it doesn't matter. And then the message say, please add, and then put the email address. If it is a new user, if it's not something that you already have in your system, if it is a person, it's not like info@xy, then we'll need their first. And so if you're adding a user, you need to add first and last name and then the email address. If the email hasn't been verified yet, so if it's not already in our system that you got verified, then you have to use the same way that you did it originally. You'll click verify email. They'll send you an Amazon web link email, and then you'll verify. So it does take it takes a little bit longer, about a day to get it added if you do need to verify. If not, it's a pretty quick thing. I would still give it a day just because, we do have a lot of support tickets coming through. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And then just click submit, Joyce, and then we'll get that ticket and then they'll add that. What other questions do we have?
Wait, let me just ask you if I do it right, the automation.
Everything looked, yeah, click create. Everything looked right to me, especially once you have that drop down menu of the right ones. Okay, so
Okay.
go back into engagement and then click analytics under automation right here. Click that.
Because when I tried to make an automation earlier, it's set to all the agents.
Go to drafts. Okay, go to, I guess.
I pause it,
Okay.
this one.
Once you have those emails added to your account, then you'll just select whichever email address you want to come from. So either Service or Patrick. We have it set as every agent's account because usually what happens is the admin will, like yourself, you'll create all the marketing material on behalf of everybody else. And then these automations will go out and it'll look like, instead of coming from the overall agency, it'll look like it's coming from the particular agent they know. So it makes it a more personalized email. So it looks better, if you're saying happy birthday, instead of it just coming from Patrick Insurance, if let's say they've been dealing with you for 6 months, you're the one there that you've issued a policy to them. It just looks better if it's saying from Joyce, happy birthday, or from Joyce, it's time to renew, instead of it coming from the agent, like the agency. But you can avoid that once we add those two emails to your account. They'll be in your drop down menu and you'll just select that and then you'll be fine. And this one is paused, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you'll be able to change that once we add that.
So that's it.
Okay. And then I want to touch on something really quick. I don't know if we talked about this, but you guys see that I'm in InsuredMine? Okay. So if we go to task lists, here, you will go up to settings and add task template. And I'm going to put test. And then you can put a description. So let's say you always have the same few tasks that you do for auto policies or something like that. You can create this. So if I just created that task template, now I'm going to go into Pipeline Manager and I'm going to go into here. Add a task. Click from template. And I'm going to click that. And then it'll automatically come up. So you don't have to retype everything. So that's a new feature. I don't know if anybody knew that we just added that, but we do have it. Any other questions so far? Okay. If we don't have any other questions, we can go ahead and wrap up. And next week we are talking about, I believe, we have a lot of new releases that we're talking about next week. Yeah, next week is Pipeline Manager, and we'll be talking about all the new things that we've added and changed and all of that. So especially the automation portal, we'll spend 2 days on that. So for all of you people that love to use single contact drips, we have updated it so it looks different. If you have the older version of it, so I would ask that if you guys have time to go into your InsuredMine and look at your pipeline manager. Let me try to see here. It won't let me. One second. So if you go into your pipeline manager and you're logged in as a manager here. I don't know what's happening. Let's see, let me try this again. When you're logged in, if you go to your admin or your manager level, you go to pipeline manager and then you go to automation. If your screen doesn't look like this, but you wanted to just put in a ticket to support, we can update it because we did just add a new interface for your single contact drips. So it might look a little different on your end. So if you do want it different, let us know. If you're used to how you do it and you like the old way, of course, you can stick to that too. It's totally up to you, but I'll be covering it for 2 days next week, how to kind of navigate this new single contact drip inside of Pipeline Manager.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Also something, if you guys do have an issue or something or something that you like about InsuredMine, But if you do have an issue, instead of having to write a, a pretty lengthy paragraph or try to explain it, if you click that feedback button right here, which is on every single screen inside of InsuredMine, you can click how you're feeling about it. And then if you click here, you can actually take a screenshot of whatever the issue is. And then you can put in, whatever the issue is and then hit send. And we'll just get a screenshot of what it is you like, what it is you don't like, so that makes it easier for you to kind of report an issue. Or if you do really like something that we've changed, we always appreciate that too. But instead of having to go over to support and type what's going on, because sometimes that can be kind of challenging, you can just send us a screenshot of the screen.
Okay.
But any other questions so far before we kind of wrap up?
Amanda, on the that enhancement to the pipeline manager, you said you're going over that next week. Is that correct?
Yes, I think I'm spending 2 different days on it. So it's quite a bit. It's a pretty big thing. So.
Okay, and if we want the update, just email support and say.
Yeah, just say I would like the new version of pipeline automation.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Any other questions before we log off? No? Okay. Well, then I will talk to y'all on Monday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Mhm.